What are some harmless ways to mess with people? Carefully step over a non-existing obstacle. Do this at a crosswalk when the car is stopped too close. Say, "No pun intended," after a sentence where there was clearly no pun. When you shake someone's hand, move yours left to right. As they do the traditional up and down, a hilarious circle ensues. I can't believe I've never thought of this. Totally left-right handshaking from now on. I put a tiny piece of masking tape over my coworker's mouse laser on April Fool's Day one year, wrote, "April Fools," on it. He troubleshot every single thing except examining the mouse. He eventually called IT, who simply turned the mouse over and pointed it out to him. Plug in a second mouse, leave it under their desk but so you can reach it with your foot. Kick it occasionally. I plugged a wireless mouse onto one of my college professor's computers and moved the mouse around every time he wasn't looking at the screen. Did this for a few days and always took back the USB at the end of class without him noticing. Finally, when doing my final presentation, he realized what was happening when I took my own mouse up with me to click through the slides. Don't turn around when you walk into a lift. Conversely, turn around too much. Just stand in the corner and rotate 90 degrees every 4-5s or so. I'm training to be a rotisserie chicken. When having a conversation during a meal, specifically only ask questions to people that are chewing. Love this one. It's on the verge of being rude, but it's so subtle people will assume you just lack awareness. Whenever I visit my extended family across the country, I bring a bag full of random remotes that I don't use anymore. Just random remotes that go to old DVRs or anything really. Just hide them around their house. They only recently caught on. If I know someone is walking a little ways behind me and I turn a corner with nobody else around, I like to run 10 to 20 steps to widen the gap and then laugh to myself, thinking that the person behind me will be confused. I doubt anyone ever notices, but I get a kick out of it every time. I know someone who always takes an item to a party and leaves it somewhere in the house, i.e. a trinket tchotchke. In the same vein, add a decoration to their Christmas tree. My mother and I do this to her mom. My grandmother is a stereotypical old white lady, for a little context. And we go to Lover's, or Spencer's, or wherever and find the most inappropriate ornament we can and leave it on her Christmas tree, tucked off to the far side so she doesn't see it until she's taking her tree down. Our favorite too include Santa doing bicep flexes in just his hat, and a stocking on his you-know-what. And Santa and Mrs. Claus with her skirts up, doggy style. We get great enjoyment out of this. Especially in January when my mom calls her mom for their weekly chat, and Grandma is going on about this ornament she found and she doesn't know where it came from. Mom has to mute the phone because we're laughing our asses off. After giving a compliment, say, "No offense," and watch them struggle to find the non-existent insult. When driving, I like to wave at random people as if I knew them. Hilarious to see instant confusion on their faces. I used to wave at random cars if I liked the car. I pass this really nice old Chevy every day on the way to and from work. We now wave to each other every time. My friend was logged into his Twitter on my tablet, so I kept changing his profile picture to a banana. He thought someone hacked him and tweeted about it. I replied to the tweet using his profile. It got so bad he was arguing with himself on Twitter. "Oh no, I got hacked. Guess I should just post about, no point changing my password." Say high five to someone, but don't put your hand up. When you're talking to someone, just keep handing them random items. They'll just keep taking them without realizing it. I once handed someone an ice cube while passing them in the hall at work. When I was a corrections officer, we had a guy who worked with us who was kind of a dick to everyone, and he was computer illiterate. We took a screenshot of his desktop and moved all of his icons off of it so it looked legit, but nothing worked. It took him an hour before he finally called IT and they figured it out pretty quickly. He wouldn't talk to any of us for about a week. Better still is to Photoshop one icon into the desktop wallpaper and then remove this one icon. Everything works except for one shortcut. Oh man, do I have a story! In my freshman year of college, my roommate was a very neat and orderly person. He had every pencil in place, every paper had a folder, and his things got neatly packed away. We were pretty amicable towards one another, even with my messy living. At first, When he would leave for classes, I would admire how tidy his desk was and thought to myself, I should fuck with that. For the whole year we lived together, I would sneak use staples everywhere on his stuff. Homework folder? Staple. Pencil case? Staple. Backpack? Staple. Shower caddy? You bet that pube-infested bar of soap got a staple on it. Hell, even the TV remote got a staple in it between the batteries, so when they died he would eventually find another. I did it often but was careful to space the staple events far enough apart to not raise suspicion on myself. I further protected myself by making a huge deal of having to borrow the across-the-hall neighbor's stapler whenever I needed to bind papers together. About March of our second semester he had become insanely suspicious of anybody with a stapler, and watched them like a hawk. The straw that broke the camel's back, I had asked him one night what his plans were under the guise of having a companion over for a visit. He said after dinner he had to go check out some obscure book at the library. When he left and headed to the dining hall, I snuck off to the library, found the obscure book he needed, and clicked a staple into it. He gets back to the dorm room and I'm doing homework in the same spot when he had left an hour earlier, claiming the meetup didn't end up happening. He sits down at his desk and opens up his newly rented book, and I hear that staple fall out onto his desk. All I hear after that is, "Why, where the fuck all these goddamn staples coming from?" I revealed myself after graduation when I mailed him a birthday card with a used staple in it. Thankfully he got the biggest kick out of the card and we still talk daily. My grandpa does this thing where he stops in the busy street and starts staring into the sky as if he's seen something amazing. It doesn't take long for other people to stop and stare too. Once he reaches critical mass, he quietly slips away chuckling to himself. I saw someone on Facebook comment on a picture that, "The three of you look great." There were 4 people in the picture. Buy a set of voice-activated, or motion-activated, stickers from Amazon, and the possibilities are endless. The movie theater in my town is usually mostly empty. There's been a couple of times when I've come in to get seated and there's literally only one other person in my auditorium. There's an evil part of me that wants to just go sit right next to them. Not illegal, but it should be. Do it, and start a conversation with a code like in old spy movies. The red ducks only fly at night. Look at their forehead, ear, or chin during the entire conversation. Call in sick to a place you don't work. At the deli, ask for the most human-tasting meat they have. Ask if they like your perfume and get them to smell your neck, wrist, ankle, or other body part. Don't actually be wearing any perfume. Keep correcting them on the pronunciation of your name, even when they are saying it correctly every time. This one is harmless but occasionally can drive someone mad. My mom has a bunch of framed family photos hanging on a wall. One day I was visiting, I took them all down and scanned them with a little hand scanner. I photoshopped small changes on them, removed some people from some photos, added a couple of celebrities in the background, etc., print them out and replaced them a few days later. I can't forget her face when she realized it was me and she was not losing it. My neighbor got an expensive new camera for his front door. Randomly, for the last several months, I have covered myself in a black cloak, including face, crawled up into camera view, and left a random harmless object. A carrot, spool of thread, 3 ink pens with the caps mixed up, dumb meaningless things. On camera, a dark shape appears and disappears, leaving a random object behind. It is driving his silly ass crazy. When at work, tell someone, "I'm going to the bathroom, do you need anything?" One thing I do is when someone asks directions, I say something like, "If you take a left out of the parking lot, and go down to the light, then turn right, you'll be going the wrong direction." It's actually, give correct directions. Use landmarks that aren't there anymore or things only locals will know. Turn right where the big oak tree used to be. Take the next road to the left after you pass the Flanders farm. Something I did in high school. I randomly found a half of a crayon on the ground. I managed to slip it into the pocket of a guy I knew. A few minutes later he discovered said crayon, and rather loudly said, "What a fact?" and tossed it away. I wandered over, picked it up, and snuck it back into his pocket when he wasn't paying attention. A few minutes go by and he finds it again. Even more confused, he throws it again and wanders off. I managed to repeat the situation twice more before I couldn't stop laughing and he noticed me going to pick it up. He was really starting to question his sanity by the end. When someone asks for the time, Excuse me, do you know what time it is? Yes. Yes, what? Yes, sir. I also like the response of, you mean now? I was talking with a supervisor, and I happened to have like 4 hard-boiled eggs in my jacket pocket for lunch. So while talking with stuff, I took out an egg, cracked, and shelled it and ate it. The conversation kept going, so I did it again, but I could see he was growing quizzical. I waited a few more minutes, pulled out another and ate that too. By then I could tell he was like, what the fuck. The conversation was wrapping up, so I pulled the last one out, and he stopped mid-conversation and asked me, how many $$ king eggs do you have? I just shrugged, shelled, and then ate the last egg. Say never mind when someone interrupts you. It will make them more curious about what you wanted to say. Works really well with my siblings. I used to hum an off-pitch note in orchestra rehearsals while the violins were getting their tuning note. Call one of those, "How's my driving?" bumper sticker numbers and let them know that their driving is wonderful. My grandpa glued a quarter to his driveway near the sidewalk and sits in his living room and watches people try to pick it up. I didn't know this till I found a quarter in the driveway one time. What are some harmless ways to fuck with people? Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this one.